Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly webinar today, February the 5th. Angela and myself, we're going to be giving today's presentation. Please take notes, take out your notebook, pencil, pen, wherever you write down all of your notes for your Monday webinar. And let's go through the agenda for today. We're going to be talking about Netoli and Jasmine essential oils. We're going to be talking about our business tools, love and connection guide, and the business kit options that we have. Remember that we have new options for those business kits. We're going to be talking about checking in by phone and creating a weekly work system. We're going to be talking about GPT and all of those hidden texts and reels that we can't use to boost our social media platforms. So let's start talking about Netoli and Jasmine. We have two essential oils that were made specially were created by nature for love. They both share some of the properties, but they do have just subtle, oh, I always have trouble with that word, subtle differences. You can choose either both of them or one. It also depends a lot on the aromas and scents that you like. Neroli, it will be a little bit more of fresh and citrus scents, and jasmine will be a little bit more of sweet and intense aromas. So talking about Neroli, they're going to be sweet floral with a hint of citrus. It will awaken romance, dream and explore. It reassures calmness, fears, provides a sense of security and confidence. It's going to be a mood lifting and promotes positive feelings. Jasmine is a symbol of eternal love, sensual, sweet, and intensely floral aromas, helps release inhibitions, intensifies passion and feelings, increases confidence, and enhances libido. We can use both of them on either it's going to be warm compresses or aroma blends carriers, and it has physical benefits. It will reduce and improve the appearance of stretch marks and scars, helps relieve the discomfort of indigestion or menstruation, and eases the tensions and sore muscles.
And Cynthia, can I add something just on that previous slide too? So remember that when you're trying to demonstrate these two different oils for your customers, there's a great one to demonstrate with the body oil, the Aroma Blends body oil, because they are so good for massage. Since they ease tension and sore muscles, since they help with like cramping of muscles, like for menstruation and digestion. It works really well with this carrier. I can say from personal experience that for cramps, neroli in this oil is wonderful. Like literally within seconds, within minutes, you feel so much better. It is, I can't tell you enough. If you have not tried this and that's something that you struggled with, neroli in our body oil and just massaging in the area where you feel cramping is a lifesaver. But also remember that these aromas, floral aromas, we as consultants have that nose for it, right? Like we really, like we are already adapted to that because we have been smelling lots of different aromas at different times, etc. But if your customers are getting this for the very first time, you might want to recommend that they blend neroli or jasmine with citrus oils, meaning bergamot, lemon, or orange, because it softens and sweetens the aromas until their nose gets more adapted to them. So that's just a common thing that when people smell these for the first time, it can be overpowering for their nose if they're not used to those aromas. So always blend with citrus if it's for the first time, and it will help their nose adapt and still get those physical or emotional benefits.
Now, talking about our business tools, this month we're gonna be talking about the Love and Connection guide that you can find in your app and also on your virtual office. This guide, the two products that they talk about first is neroli and jasmine essential oils. We're gonna go deep into the other products during the rest of our Monday webinars, but we also have the 3 aroma blends, the body lotion, the body mist, the body oil. We have the sandalwood bath essence and the sandalwood bath butter as a gel item. So in this guide, you can see information about their products, all of their benefits, how you can do product demonstration with each one of them. And also you can spot in there the primary uses and recommendations that we have for each one of them and how all of them also work together. So this guide, you can find it on your virtual office under spa, and then you're going to go to spa tools. So here is the wellness event guide that we're going to be talking during this month, but you can also see the first wellness event guide that we talk this past week. Hold on. Yeah, this past week.
So yeah, so like if you go to this page and you open up the wellness event guide for love and connection, you're going to see just the section on love and connection, right? But let's say you're a new consultant. Let's say you want to see the other introductory information, the closing information. Remember that for any of these topics, you can go to that very first one on this list that says the complete at the end, the wellness event, introduction, healthy lifestyle, Petty Bond complete. And that is like the bigger document that has the full introduction, the full conclusion information that you will eventually just know by heart. But you know, for our newer consultants, remember that these other documents are just like the middle chunk of your spa that you'll be seeing in those like 9 pages or so.
Yeah, this is going to be, the rest of them is only the step 4. And on the first one, you're going to see the first 3 steps and then the conclusion part. You can find this guides also on your app. So when you open your app, you're going to go to resources, and you're going to go to the file number 6, which is going to be spa and virtual materials. Then you're going to go to the file that says wellness event guide. And in here, you can find all of the wellness event guides on your app. So you have 2 options where you can find them. You can always have them on, you don't have to download them on your phone. You can always just log in into your app and pull them out. But also, if you want to print it, you can go into your virtual office and download it from your virtual office, and you can have it in your computer. You can have it printed out with you. We also have the products information inside our product file. So when you open your app, you go to resources, you're going to go to the file, the folder number 4, which is products, and then you can find in here your products like Neroli essential oil. You can also type it on top on the search bar. You can type it by code or by name, and then you can find all of the information for Neroli. You're going to find the manual document for just the product, and you can also find pictures of the product. You can use those pictures to also just be creative in Canva, and you can post them on Instagram, do stories, etc. with them.
Okay, so I'm going to switch and share screen. Does that sound good, Cynthia?
Perfect.
Let's see. All right, so just making sure my presentation is caught up. I think so. Yes. Okay. So as you saw when we mentioned in our kickoff and also in our weekly news, et cetera, that we have new consultant kit options available. And it's very exciting because we have our regular consultant kits, but also now we have these add-ons that we can add for consultants who are like, you know what, I'm glad that I have that new kit, but I also want to I want to specialize in skincare, things like that. So everyone can see my screen okay. Let me know if it's not coming through for any reason. But so remember that we still have our virtual business kit or our spa business kit, and those prices are according to how many products are available in each one, right? So virtual business kit has a little bit smaller sizes and fewer paper materials versus the spa business kit comes with a few more paper materials and more full-size products. So you have those the full list there. And now your consultants, when they sign up to join your team, are also going to have an option to add on some extra things to their initial kit. So they can choose the basic skincare selection. So let's say they already fell in love with the Vital Use Basic Skincare kit set and they want to start demonstrating that right away with people. They add this on to their kit. The free breathing section. So like, let's say they already fell in love with thyme, Eucasol, tea tree. They want to start demonstrating those 3 products right away. They can add that on to their kit. Or the aromatherapy selection where they would get the body mist and 3 essential oils to start demonstrating that as well. well. So it's really for your niche consultants that already have fallen in love with one of those routines and want to add it onto their kit so that they can really hit the ground running and start sharing those products, those routines right away with their contacts. So any questions about that, go ahead and add it to the chat. But I think one of the biggest questions we have had so far is it they choose a business kit or one of these special sets? And that's not the case. They choose their business kit, virtual or spa business kit, and then these are optional add-ons that they can add to that kit so that they can start demonstrating right away. So hopefully that clarifies everything. Let us know if you have any other questions about those new kits. And also remember that in the month of February, since we are focusing so much on sharing the used opportunity, that your new consultants this month will be able to choose from these things, but also they will get a free True Love essential oil blend with any of the kit options. So very exciting things here in the month of February. Okay, and just a quick reminder that when someone is interested in joining your team, you want to get that sponsoring link right away, so that you can share it with them in that moment and get this process rolling right away. So just open up your consultant app and click on your sponsoring button. And then choose what kind of sponsoring you are doing. So in this case, it would be consultant if they're signing up on your team. And then you're going to see like the form that they fill out. It's a 2-page form. Like they fill out one field, like one set of fields, they submit that, they fill out the next set of fields on the next page. But remember to grab the little share icon. We click on that. And then most phones are going to make you also go into this menu that pops up and click copy. So just make sure that you do that so you do get the correct link and you can just copy and paste that into the message or email that you are sharing with the person who is interested in signing up. Any questions about that? Go ahead and let us know. I just wanted to give you that quick reminder. This is the fastest, easiest way to get that link and get them signed up right away under your team. Okay, so today for prospecting tips, again, we're really focusing on reaching out to new customers and new potential consultants this month. And part of that is by working on our balanced prospecting. So as you already know, we talked about this last week as we talked about, again, reviewing those 7 mindsets of fanatical prospectors to have success in sales. We talked about balanced prospecting in terms of, okay, you might be comfortable with messaging, but that shouldn't be the only mode of communication that you're using to reach out to potential customers and consultants, right? So you're creating social media content to attract people who have those needs. You're going to vendor events to meet new people in your community. You're networking. You're asking for referrals from people who have already purchased. You're doing mailing, sending out samples, things like that. You are making phone calls. We'll talk about that today. You're meeting people in person in your community. You're sending out emails and messages, things like that. You really have to balance your prospecting out in order to meet your sales goals and keep that pipeline full of new prospects coming in at all times. So since phone calls tend to be the scariest thing on this list for a lot of people, we wanted to talk a little bit more about that today, making effective sales phone calls. What is a good system that you can put in place for this to feel more confident while doing it? So if you are thinking of any tips right now, that what have you done in the past to have successful phone calls with existing customers, potential prospects that you've met via social media, et cetera. What are some things that come to mind? Go ahead and share those in the chat while I am sharing these ideas, but also just make sure to take some screenshots and add some of these ideas into your own routine as well. So before making a phone call, you want to have a list of prospects that is prioritized. Who are you most likely to have these successful contacts with, et cetera. And we do a little bit of planning before we call. Right? So, and this takes a lot of the nervousness out of it. So before calling, research ahead of time. Make sure you know who you are talking to and you know a little bit about them. Do your research. Like this is being a contact with them on social media, just going into their social media account, taking a peek at what are their interests, what are their needs, what are they posting about, what do you know about them so far, because that's really going to help you build the rest of your conversation with them. And have a well-structured script. So this could be just like an outline, something that you have written down on a piece of paper that kind of keeps you on task as you're talking to that person. So you want it to be concise yet persuasive. So you have to really capture their attention within seconds in that phone call. Otherwise, they might just kind of swipe us off to the side very quickly. So we want to get their attention within those first like 5 seconds or so. And we want to highlight the benefits that are going to be most relevant to them about whether it's purchasing products or joining your team, etc. So work on that outline, and make sure that you know who you're talking to ahead of time and what they might need. And then here are just 6 steps to follow. If you're talking to a brand new prospect, like someone who has liked your social media page, who has commented, who has asked a question, this would be something you would start to break the ice with someone who contacted you from TikTok content, things like that. These can be icebreakers. They can also be like if you are talking to a contact that you already know, but you haven't been in a sales conversation with them recently, you can also kind of like jump into that conversation a little more quickly if it's someone that you're already really familiar with. But first of all, just make sure you're always starting with a greeting. Hi, and use their name. This is tell them who you are, remind them of how they know you if you haven't seen them in a while, haven't talked to them in a while. Oh, we met at that vendor event last Saturday in whatever city. We talked about whatever thing, right? Like you remind them of who you are and what you do, right? And then right away, we want to go into the connection piece of, how is your day going so far? I remember you had mentioned whatever topic. I was just wondering how that was going for you, et cetera. Like show them that you listened the last time you made contact, show them that you were paying attention. And also, this is a point where if you're talking to someone that you already know, especially, you always want to converse and connect enough in this stage of the conversation so that you have a good understanding what are their needs. So like you're talking about life and needs come up, right? You want to try to get to the point of like asking questions so you understand their why. So if they were to join you or if they were to purchase products from you, what would be their why in doing that, right? What would be their motivation, their main motivator for saying yes to these questions you're going to ask later? And even in these conversations, a lot of times you figure out what is their sticking point? What is their excuse going to be to not do it? Is it going to be, I don't have the funds for that right now? I know that that's their sticking point. So I'm going to already be talking about hosting a wellness event, right? Or I know that they're going to say, you know what? My budget is tight this month. That's their sticking point. But that's also going to be my building point for why might it be helpful for them to earn extra income on my team, right? So you're having this conversation, but you're making all these mental notes about like, oh, that's a need that they might have. That's a why that might be behind the business opportunity. This is their sticking point. This is what they're going to tell me is their excuse. How can I help talk around that and make that actually be a selling point for our opportunity, right? So another thing you can do as part of connecting with them is mentioning similarities. This is going to be helpful if it's someone that you're just meeting via social media, etc. Something like, oh, I noticed that we have this thing in common. I noticed that we both really love to ski or whatever. When did you get involved with that? Or, oh, I see that you're a fan of crocheting. I don't know. Oh, me too. How long have you been crocheting for? Right? Like you're looking for things that you genuinely, authentically have in common with that person. Don't make it up. They can tell when you're not being genuine, like right away. So you're keeping your cool. You're cool. You're authentic. You're genuine. These are all things that you really want to know about this person and that you generally like really are excited that you have in common. Just make sure that you have that calm, cool, collected, like don't overdo the enthusiasm in this piece. Like you're just having a conversation and connecting and enjoying your conversation with this person. Okay. Then we also want to start introducing some of the key information. So here's where we start mentioning, oh, speaking of which, you were mentioning that pain that you get in your wrist from all that crocheting. I wanted to invite you to check out this wellness event that I'm going to do talking about tips for joint care and things like that, right? Like you're going to start bringing up the opportunities, the key information that you called them about, right? Or, oh, I recently started doing this thing and I have found that by using I recently have been getting, my family has been getting sick with every virus out there lately. And I have realized that the cold and flu set is my savior during this time of year. Things like that. So this is why when you start bringing up the used opportunity piece, right? So whether it's a business opportunity, routines, etc., and then start asking the questions of like, have you ever thought about starting a new routine for when your family gets sick or to manage your joint pain or something like that? And then we start offering more solutions, more concrete solutions. So if you're open to it, I could share more details about how this routine has worked for me, or this business opportunity works and has a positive impact on so-and-so's life. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. What else would you like to know at this point, right? Like, this is where we get to the point where we're offering a solution. We try to do something concrete, whether it's a sale, whether it's setting up a time to meet again, whether it's giving them the invite for your next youth opportunity presentation. This is where we come in and offer a specific solution, a call of action, right? Call to action. So I'm going to go back and just let you take screenshots if you haven't already. These are the first 3 steps, what they can look like. Notice how they're not scary, they're not cringy, they're not overwhelming, they're not too pushy, right? They're just ways to have a productive conversation with someone and still get your point across and work towards sales or prospecting for your team as well. Okay, and just a few reminders, make sure you listen carefully to their needs and concerns. This will allow you to tailor your message and your responses and offer specific solutions that are right for them, right? Ask open-ended questions that encourage conversation and give you more information about their needs, their life, their why, their sticking point, etc. Emphasize the benefits and value certain products, the emphasize the benefits and value that certain products can bring into their life. So the whole idea is to help people, right? So make sure that that is a focus in your conversation as well. And if you feel that there is interest, don't hesitate to invite them to a more detailed meeting, to that wellness event, to a youth opportunity presentation. Like, try to have some kind of next step in this conversation to be able to follow up with them and continue. Okay. Any questions about that, or any extra ideas that have worked well for you while making phone calls with customers or prospects? Go ahead and share them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so quick reflection. As you're thinking about making phone calls to your prospects, how do you feel when someone takes time out of their day to call you and just catch up? So this is especially like with your known contacts, right? Like, what if a friend that you haven't talked to in a couple months just calls you and is like, hey, I was hoping I could catch up with you and see how you're doing. How does that make you feel, right? This is something, that feeling that you should keep in mind every time you feel nervous about interrupting someone's day. Oh, but what if they're working, or what if they're busy, or what if this, or what if that? Just remember that for a lot of people, it is a special thing to get a phone call when people are calling to see how you are and to catch up. Yes. And also remember, like, on the other side of that, what if someone that you aren't as familiar with, someone that you like to post, you followed their page on social media, whatever, what if they were to call you or message you or reach out because you showed interest in a product or service that they've been talking about? What would that need to look like or sound like in order to grab your attention and earn your trust? That's another thing to think about before you start these phone calls, is what should my tone of voice be? Should I be over enthusiastic and really loud, or should I be calm, cool, and collected? Like, hey, we're just having a chat, right? Do you want them to show interest in your needs, or should they be pushing products and opportunities on you, right? Like, think about what that should look like, what you would need that to look like in order to for them to gain your trust. And those are the kinds of things that you want to incorporate into your own phone calls. So write those things down, keep them in mind. It makes phone calls a lot less scary when you're doing it the right way and following a system that is very effective. Okay, so go ahead and take those notes, write that on your to-do list. Let's contact some more people this week. I might not, as I'm trying to save my poor vocal cords, but I'm going to try to make some phone calls. I won't be able to go as like my full list of prospects this week, but it is something that really, some of my best sales have come from like those hour-long phone calls with someone who really just needs someone to talk to and hear their needs and concerns. And that can be like a monthly routine that really works well for us. Okay. Now, also for our sales project this week, we want to talk about how do you add in these phone calls, this prospecting, etc., into a weekly work system. This should be like, your calendar is what's going to get you the most results in life, in sales, in everything. You have to plan your minutes, because as we all know, they go by really quickly, right? So when you are planning a weekly work system, just try to think about the following things so that you don't miss anything important. So set aside time for reviewing and planning your agenda, your daily goals, like that big picture stuff, so that you know like what your focus is for the day or for the week. Make time for prospecting calls. So you should always have a list of people that might be interested in what you have to offer, that you are going to keep contacting. Remember that it takes 6 to 12 different forms of contact, usually before we end up with sales or people signing up for our team, etc. So having a list and keeping track of that is really important. Track your previous calls. Make sure you remember and take notes, like what did you talk about last time? What were some needs that came up? Things like that. Make time for content creation to post to your social media. So this could be videos, posts that you make in Canva, demonstrations, live videos, etc. Set aside time to respond to comments and messages. If your social media is getting really popular, that can take up a huge chunk of your time. So make sure you set aside specific time to dedicate to that so it doesn't overwhelm your whole schedule. Hopefully that's a problem for a lot of you. That would be great. I know Claudia Rico has talked about this. Is like, oh my gosh, I can't even keep track of all my WhatsApp and messages. Like it's too much sometimes to keep up with all the follow, which is a good problem to have. Make sure you're following up and following up on conversations and closing sales, right? So you're doing those sales closing calls where someone is on the brink. They've told you they want something, but they haven't placed their order yet. Make sure that you're taking time to tie up loose ends with your customers as well. We're doing analysis of our results at the end of the day. I did these things. These are the results they gave me. What can I do differently, or what can I keep doing to keep improving my results? Plan future content scheduling. So if you are on Canva one day and can whip out 5 different images on a topic and start scheduling them into your social media via Meta Business Suite, etc., get those things done in bulk as often as you can, and it can be really helpful for saving you time later on and staying consistent. And also use scheduling tools like Meta Business Suite, like like the different tools that are available, like the paid Canva accounts, scheduling your social media, etc. Use those tools to optimize your time and save you some of that workload. Okay. And remember to always review your goals in preparation for tomorrow. So after going through your work one day, your brain is fresh and has ideas for the next day. Oh, I didn't get to this, but I'm going to start with that tomorrow, etc. Okay. And so when you make that plan, try to be as specific about it as you can. So keep this plan somewhere visual on your fridge, up on a wall at your workspace, etc. Keep it somewhere visual so that you're reminded of it and that exists and that's your goal for the day. Set repeating alarms and reminders. Oh my gosh, that helps me so much. I have alarms that go off every weekday at 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. to tell me this is when your used work time begins. This is when it ends. And I have a really clear, defined time in my day. My phone rings and tells me, like, stop washing those dishes and go work. So that can be really helpful. And set aside those golden hours and treat them like a meeting. Like, would you skip a meeting that someone had set up with you? Would you show up late to it? No, that should be your relationship with this calendar. Is you show up on time, you make the most of that time, you put in your earbuds with classical music, you're focused, you're getting things done during that time. Those are your golden hours. Set them aside, respect them, and keep them consistent every day. So if you haven't been doing these things, start doing some of these things. Write them on your to-do list. It makes such a big difference in making your minutes count and staying consistent throughout the day. Okay, and also for our tech tips, we want to share some ideas for you're putting in this time to create social media content and things like that, right? That's part of your daily routine. How can you make it really count and get more views and get more reactions? We want to share just a quick tip that can be really helpful for boosting your algorithm, especially in platforms like Reels and TikTok and Instagram. So we want to show you something that has been cycling around on social media that's been a popular trick that can help boost your algorithm, and it's super easy. So tell us in the chat if you already have the Chat GPT app downloaded on your phone. I'm going to tell you just a quick overview of what it is. Obviously, AI, artificial intelligence, has been a big boom. You've probably seen it everywhere, that it's kind of changing the way we do everything. And it doesn't have to be super scary, and we can use it for our own purposes to save us time with our social media content creation. So ChatGPT is a quick app that you can download on your phone. and you go in and you create your account. We set it up, right? And it's just basically like you can type in questions and it gives you information based on what it can find in its databases online, etc. Right? So if I go into Chat GPT and I ask for a list related to a specific topic, like I'll show you an example with my video in just a minute, but like what are 10 common complaints about dry hands, for example, right? I want to make content about hand care. What are 10 common complaints about dry hands in the winter? I ask it that question, it's going to give me a response. I can copy that and paste that response into my reel. So I just put it in there like a little text box on my reel. And then I'm going to make it small. So I take that text of all these key words that the internet's buzzing about right now about dry hands, right? And I make it small. And I keep it in my reel, but I kind of swipe it off to the side and hide it. All of those keywords are now built into my reel. They're not cluttering up my screen or anything, but they're built into my reel and are going to help my algorithm detect all of these common needs that people have about dry hands. And it's going to bring them to my content where I'm talking about dry hands. I'm like, are you suffering with dry hands this winter? And I'm telling them how to fix it. They might stick around because they're already thinking about dry hands and all these issues. So I'm going to show you this little video about what this looks like so that you can kind of visualize what this looks like. So here I'm starting in Chat GPT. Again, it's just an app that I have on my phone. I am asking it a question. You can see it okay. Like, what are 10 common dry hand complaints? Okay. And there's like courses you could take on getting good prompts in here, but it doesn't have to be super intense. Chat GPT just gave me a list of common hand complaints. What's going on here? Okay. I don't know why my video just like paused. Are you guys seeing it okay? I'm going to come back.
Yes,
Okay.
we
So
can see it.
you can see it. Okay. It like paused on my end. I don't know why. So I'm going to take Chat GPT's response and notice how right from within the app, I can click on its response and copy it. Okay. Just like I would any text on my phone. And I can come into my reel that I've been creating in Instagram, for example, and paste it in here as a text. Now, I'm going to make it just small. As long as it's in there, it's going to still detect that that text is part of my reel. And I'm going to just take my finger and swipe that little text box off to the side. And this way, that text is still a part of my reel, but it's just kind of hidden off to the side. You don't even have to see it. And that's going to help those keywords get detected in the algorithm so that my content based on those topics is going to get more views. It takes you like 30 seconds. And then you just add in the rest of your content in your reel. Then you dedicate your time to making your video, demonstrating the products, talking about their benefits, call to action, and all of those things we've been talking about. But you have saved time in those keywords by using AI to give you a quick list of what people are looking for when they talk about dry hands. Does that make sense? So literally all I did was use the Chat GPT app and my Instagram app, and I made a reel and popped that text in. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions about that in the chat. Play around with Chat GPT. It's super cool how much information it can give you really quickly. You can't trust it like 1000%. Every single thing is not going to always have the correct answer for every question you put in there, but those prompts can really help you see what other people are looking for, what needs people tend to have right now on those topics that you're talking about. That is a really good use of that for our business. Okay. So hopefully that's a useful tip for you as you're creating content, especially for Reels in Instagram and TikTok. Always wants to stay on that slide. Okay, so moving on to our call to action, make sure you have your to-do list ready to go. Please make sure that you make at least 5 phone calls this week. Make it 10, make it 15, make it 20, but at least 5 phone calls where you're creating that flexible script that's going to help you do those 6 different steps to really make a meaningful phone call that's concise and effective and helps you make a connection with your prospects. Check your product order history for any of the products that are on sale, for example, this month. There's a lot of top sellers on sale right now, and follow up with those people and let them know that things are on sale if they need refills, etc. It's a great thing to do at the beginning of every month. And try to sell 3 of those vital used travel size sets or the romance sets or any other sets that are on sale this month, so that we are really taking advantage of all the different offers that are going on right now. So thank you everyone who has joined us here live in Zoom and in our replay on YouTube or live stream on Facebook. And those of you who are sticking with us in Zoom, stay around for a few time sensitive reminders for the month of February.